Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on the covert narcissist manipulation tactic of projection and how they tend to project their insecurities and their quote unquote defects as they feel onto you. It's very interesting when we talk about projection, when we talk about how someone will essentially, rather than processing their own situation, their own weaknesses, their own anger, their own feelings, their own emotions, etc., rather than being able to process those, people tend to project onto others. In other words, it's the kicking the dog syndrome. For example, and I use this as an analogy. Of course, people are aware of this. If someone has had a bad day at work, then they come home and kick the dog. Yell at the dog. This is just a metaphor, but it's essentially where they're taking out their aggressions on some place other than handling it and processing it themselves and learning a lesson or having the takeaway that they needed to from that situation. So projection is a way of people who have personality disorder, specifically a covert narcissist, for the sake of the focus in this video, how they tend to project their own insecurities, their own defects, their own shortcomings, rather than acknowledging them, owning up to these, dealing with them, and then moving on in life, which is really the healthy and right thing to do. But rather than coming to terms with their own securities, they tend to project these onto you. And really, when we talk in the world of psychology, when we talk about projection, it's making the other person the carrier for all this negativity, hurt, all these difficult emotional feelings that are difficult for them to deal with. They essentially project it onto that other person, so they have to end up experiencing it and then working through it in their life. It's a very interesting but very insidious thing, especially when we talk about this in terms of a covert narcissist. So how does the covert narcissist use this defense mechanism of projection? How does this play out? What does this really look like in your life? Well, if a covert narcissist, and I've got my computer light on here, so hopefully you can see better and not just the glare off my glasses, but the covert narcissist will project their feelings of insecurity onto you. So whatever it is that they're insecure about, for example, they are unexperienced, perhaps with social situations and feeling comfortable being out with people. So we see this as a very hallmark trait with a covert narcissist, that they're very uncomfortable in social settings, but yet they feel superior to others, and so they tend to protect their self-interest by not really communicating. So rather than them owning up to this discomfort and then working through it, they might project it onto you. And they might, but they do this in a covert way, i.e. not protecting you, when you're being hurt, not, acknowledging, when you're hurt, not speaking about these things, not addressing them. So these natural situations that you might find yourself in, they perpetuate your, they allow you to kind of fester and feel alone and isolated and not acknowledged. So this, in essence, is projecting onto you all these sort of insecurities and defects that they feel onto you, so you have to experience these yourself. Or for example, this covert narcissist might not feel, very sophisticated or very savvy in certain ways. And so they then might project this onto you, where they don't encourage you to go out and express yourself or grow in certain manners. So it's a way for them to kind of see where they could encourage you to the next level, but they don't, out of a pathological jealousy. And this in turn, creates a projected of their insecurity onto you, so they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to process it. They then create this situation or this grief within you, this uncomfortability, where you're having to live these out rather than them living it out. So just as we see projection projection is, again, it's very unique to each person, it's unique to each couple, and really the sort of dynamics that we see. And so, other examples are just when they tend to blame shift you, blame you, insult you, name call you. But it's very difficult because even in the covert narcissist relationship, they're not always vocal. So it's very important to understand that their covert ways that they're projecting onto you can be very much that which is, really felt within them, that they take on you to blame. So it's very convoluted and very twisted. But I think if you are involved with a covert relationship, narcissist and being projected upon, I think you will kind of get this, because the blame that you feel, they originate within themselves. It has nothing to do with reality. It has nothing to do with how you truly are or feel. It's a blame projection. It's a defense mechanism so that they can, get off the hook of, and then just furthermore exasperate their condition. So please be aware of this projection tactic. If you feel like they're, insulting you, or, a lack of communication in certain ways, realize that it's a projection method that they use to manipulate and control you. But even more so difficult, you have to grow beyond it and utilize the tools, especially that we discuss here in Peace and Harmony, to really get beyond it and not identify with the abuser, but identify with your healthy self, and break free from that cycle of abuse and projection that we see in covert narcissist relationship. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.